approval for Harvest Moon Cemetery tours on October the 19th and 20th, 2018. Got that. And then we have another claim from Denise Zalkowski for fallen sidewalk.
So there's really no discussion on that other than the fact that we sent that to our insurance carrier? We really shouldn't be discussing that, eh?
Well, I mean, we can, and bottom line is, Tony and Chuck and I did a little bit of investigation, and we took care of it, and there's no liability for our end. And I spoke to our carrier, and they agree, so nothing to worry about.
Super, thank you.
And then we have, oh, sorry about that. Okay. We have the approval to hire Annie Caracalla, masonry for a repairing from steps. And that's very basic. And finally going to fix the front steps so we can go in and out from the regular front door.
Mayor, I just have a quick question on that.
Sure.
I saw this quote there, and, you know, our procurement policy says under $20,000 does not need 3 estimates, but this says that this estimate has been performed with minimal visual inspection of the staircase. Any changes required shall influence cost.
Yes,
So
that
let's-
doesn't mean that he's gonna ask for more money. The only thing that means is, because I talked to Andy, he doesn't have the crew to do it, so he's fully willing to guide our crew or somebody else to do it. That's the only reason he put it there. It's not that he's gonna ask for extra money for that.
Okay.
Just by way of clarification, what we're talking about, the extra, not having a crew for is just the welding of the railings. That's all. He and his crew will do all the concrete and all the stonework. It's just he doesn't have a welder on staff.
Do we have, I see it's in the estimates in the, our resolutions, but did we have a written estimate from Mr.
Yes, we did.
Carapelli?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Do we have that anywhere? I mean, could we all get a copy of that, please?
I will give you a copy.
Thank you.
And then we have the hiring of part-time police officer. We call for a special meeting on October the 1st, 2018. There
Yes,
is-
for what reason?
Excuse me?
For what reason?
The reason is we need to hire some people. So I'll be more specific as the week goes on. But that's the main reason. We need some people. We need to hire some people, and that's what we're going to do. Then we have the approval of purchase for the new Holland tractor, and that's the tractor that's going to clear the snow from the sidewalks. Is that correct, Tony?
Yes.
Right. And then hiring of the pump doctor for gas system. As we discussed last week at the workshop, these are for the tanks, the gasoline tanks at the DPW.
What time is our special meeting on October 1st?
6 o'clock.
Thank you.
Yep. And last but not least, we call for a public hearing on local law number 3. This is another public hearing for the same law.
May I make some comments on the text?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. On paragraph 179-27H6, fuel burning water heaters shall not be located in sleeping rooms. The B is missing in the text there.
The word "be" is missing, just a typo. It says "shall not located," it should be "shall not be located."
Yes, okay.
Okay, in paragraph 179-89F, extermination of insects, rodents, or other pests within his dwelling unit, if his unit is the only one infested in the premises. I had asked previously that this sentence be deleted from the proposed law. Does anyone have any comment about that? 179,
I thought we discussed it.
Yeah. We did.
We did, didn't we?
We did discuss it.
We voted on to keep it.
And to keep it.
Yeah.
I missed it entirely. 179-91, D, landlord registration. 2, the information provided shall include property address, number of units, number of bedrooms, number of occupants, name and date of birth for each occupant. This morning, I sent an email to the trustees and the mayor giving a link to a Wikipedia article entitled Mass Surveillance. And I asked that we have some deep thought about this issue and how it relates to this particular segment of the law proposed.
You want me to say something? Trustee Barris, this is the main, I mean, this is really the heart of what we're doing.
Yeah.
This information is required. It's gonna be beneficial not only to the building inspector's office when it comes time to writing violations. It's gonna be beneficial to law enforcement who gets there at 2 o'clock in the morning and doesn't know who's supposed to be there, and there's 100 people claiming that they don't live there. It's going to be beneficial to our EMS personnel. If there's a structure fire, we know who is supposed to be living there. This is also the section that allows, that we had that letter from Fredonia State, saying that they think this is a good idea. It was a letter of support. I understand your privacy concerns, and I am of the opinion we generally, as a government, collect way too much information about people. But this particular thing is not, I mean, it's so small, and there is a compelling government interest in collecting this information. And this is less information than is on your driver's license. It's less information than you have on your registration for your car. It really is a minor intrusion to ask, but we do have a major governmental compelling interest, which is the balancing test whenever you're going to have a privacy concern. So on the one hand, we've got more effective police, fire, and code. And on the other hand, I mean, a name and date of birth, it's really not that much of an issue, I don't believe. And without that, the whole rest of it, I mean, that's really our most important section. The whole rest of it just doesn't make a lot of sense when you take that away.
Okay. May I add my personal concern? My first employer had a medical office in Berlin in November 1938. Her office was vandalized by police agencies. And she subsequently departed very hurriedly from Germany and never returned. So she came to Chautauqua County eventually, and she told me many stories about things that had occurred. Subsequently, I learned how to speak German. I made 2 trips to Germany. I have spoken to many people who had various professional relationships in Germany during the 30s and 40s. This is a basis for my concern and has set a standard for my life in terms of information seeking by governmental agencies. Thank you.
I don't know who could answer this. I have a couple questions here. Is this on our website, the new changes, and/or if not, when will the public be able to see this before our next public hearing?
What we're doing tonight is we are introducing the local law, and then it will be tabled for the public hearing in 2 weeks, okay? And so during that time, it will be up on the website, it will be posted in the newspaper. The mayor and Chuck and I have been, and Brad have been working on this thing diligently, rewrite after rewrite after rewrite, and finally just got the final draft that everybody was comfortable with this morning. So it's been an ordeal, but it'll be available, no problem.
In regards to the information, have you reviewed case law and so forth and different?
Well, you could draw a direct correlation between the famous Supreme Court case of Terry versus Ohio, okay? It says that the police can stop you on the street and ask for your identification, all right? Basically, the analysis was the same one I just went through with Dr. Barris. Compelling governmental interest versus minor imposition, if you will.
All depends if their information gets compromised, then it's not minor, I guess.
But if we can't trust our police and our fire and our code enforcement with the information,
And we
I mean, what are we doing?
in the area.
Well, we try to, we think we trust our lending, well, I would say banks and so forth. I mean, there's large organizations that have had data breaches on stuff, but I'm not that this could happen, it could happen, I don't know, but I mean, you know,
But again, we're not asking for social security numbers, we're asking for name and date of birth of the tenant. We're asking for contact information for people that have a business in the village of Fredonia that makes money. I mean, that's just basic information. We're not posting it, we're not making it public, we are keeping it for our use by our agencies. And even if there was a data breach, what are you gonna get? You're gonna get somebody's name and date of birth. You can pretty much go over to the college and get that information off a lot of the doors this time of year.
Or for 99 cents, you can get it online
Yeah.
with everything else. And one thing that I want to say, and Jim brought to my attention before, surveillance is not having somebody's name and date of birth. Is following that person, is recording what they do, is, if I'm not mistaken, it's much more than having somebody's name and date of birth. I mean, everybody is bothered by intrusion in our privacy. I do too. But at the same time, we're part of a society, and as part of that society, we are asked to give up some of our information. I think this is going to make this law work, really, and without any major intrusion into anybody's privacy, will give us the information that we need, so we have these businesses work the way they're supposed to work.
okay, who's compelled to get that information? The landlord?
Yes,
From
in the
there?
law, if you look at section D, 1, it puts the information gathering responsibility on the landlord. Basically, all that section is when the landlord registers, using the form that Chuck's office is gonna develop. And hopefully, eventually, it will all be computerized, but right now, we don't have that capability. It is the landlord's responsibility. It will be a breach, a violation of that chapter, and if they fail to provide the registration information.
And on D1, it should say the owner of the rental property shall register rental property within 30 days, not with 30 days.
Within 30 days, yeah, there is another typo.
Another typo is all, within.
Doesn't matter how many times I check it over, Jim, there's always something.
Yeah, I know, I just know, you know, I caught it. and-
Yeah, absolutely, I'll make that change before it goes to the paper, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Karen? Roger?
I don't have anything on that. I'd like to revisit the New Holland tractor proposal. Jim, looking through the resolution here, it said that there's going to be a capital fund, a purchase through our capital fund. Have you checked all that over for us and made sure that that's where we can take it from?
He did.
Okay. Thanks.
And I want to thank him very much. He checks everything before we do anything, so I feel quite safe about it. All right, then we're going to have the building inspector's report for August 2018. We have transfers and additions to fire department roles. And the same thing, I don't know why it's there, proposal from Andrew Carapella Masonry for Village Hall steps. Is there anything you wish to discuss? The board?
Yes, I do. I have a few things here, if I could, please. This Saturday, there's going to be a public engagement for the Barker Common Park
That
project.
should be on the meeting, so it can be in the minutes, if you don't mind.
I'll bring it up under
On the
trustee
meeting.
report.
Yes,
Okay.
please, yeah.
Last week, we received, Mayor, from you a quotation for leak survey. Can we act on that? I mean, we have that, it's roughly $545 over what we have budgeted for leak detection, but we should really start.
We should, and we didn't do it for today, we can do it for Monday.
Okay. put
If
it
we
on.
have all the 3 proposals by then. Right? We have 2. I apologize, yes. And for a minute, I forgot about it. What I did was I sent it over to Brian and Gear, who know our system very well, and I asked for their input because the difference is quite big. One is asking us for almost $11,000, and the other one about 16. So I want to know which one they think is the best proposal. And then, of course, you have to decide which one it is. So that's the reason we didn't do it yet.
Okay, so we're getting more than one proposal for this?
No, we have 2.
2.
Yes.
Do we think that we should solicit for other proposals for our steps to give our residents a better, cost-effective?
To be honest,
solution?
we're trying these steps since last June, not this June, the June before last. And according to Rick, nobody wanted to touch them. Nobody wanted to give us a price.
Okay.
I spoke with Andrew Carapella last year. It was close to November. He didn't have any time. I feel that this is the best proposal we can get. Is not expensive. I mean, it's expensive, but not hugely expensive. And I think this is a really good proposal from a local person.
And Jim, I'd ask you, same question that Roger asked you. We're able to cover this under some fund or a budget line?
Was budgeted in the capital fund.
In the capital
We
fund?
budgeted
Oh, yeah.
$50,000.
50, okay.
So we have some-
Thank you, that's right.
somebody
I'm
else.
sorry.
Savings.
Yeah, we have some left over, that's how we're gonna buy
The tractor.
the truck,
Yeah.
the tractor.
Okay,
We're gonna make a transfer within the budget, within the
Okay.
capital fund budget,
okay,
for the Holland tractor.
okay, makes sense, thank you.
Anything else that the board would?
We have this material, appears to be central connection.
That's for the meeting too. We're going to address that at the meeting if you don't mind, so it can be in the minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
One other question. I'd like to link the code enforcement report with the notice of claim for fall on the sidewalk. It's been my experience in my extensive famous walks that many sidewalks have not been touched in at least 17 years. And it occurs to me that this would be a proper focus of the code enforcement office.
They already sent a letter to the owner of that house.
Yeah, but this is one house. There's 1,000 defective sidewalk.
And as you know, Dr.
Question?
Barris, we have one code enforcement officer who works out. And you're right.
And
you-
the board could hire more code enforcement officers that could deal with these problems that persist over 17 years. I stumbled on a sidewalk this morning. I was transported by ambulance after stumbling on a sidewalk in 2011, and I didn't make a claim. Okay, so this is a problem, for anyone who walks, is my point.
I agree with you. I
And
don't
it's a
disagree.
problem for the village board of trustees for not authorizing, not hiring sufficient code enforcement officers to take care of the problem. So,
So the board of trustees can hire more people, absolutely.
yes.
I agree.
Well, that's something we can look at our next budget. Obviously, when we make additions and different things to the codes, like our housing changes here, you're gonna need probably more people. We make more laws and rules, and we don't have enough people to take care of the laws and rules and regulations that we have now. So yes, I would concur that if we're gonna propose these things and we continually have these problems, we need to address them properly. And that would probably be something that could be addressed in the next budget
And that brings us back to the last issue, to last month's meeting. You made the point that if one makes an investment into infrastructure, then that reduces accidents in the future. So presumably the costs that the village pays out in terms of personnel and materials will reduce the costs that individuals passing through the community experience in terms of medical losses, for example, and perhaps in their own mortality.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just one other thing that we've touched on in past, like last year, the crosswalk at Central and Forbes. This afternoon, Justice Prince tugged my ear for a minute and noted that over the weekend, he almost struck a couple college kids there. It was dark. He investigated it apparently into the street light relocation there, and he said, I don't know how or where, I'd have to get more information from him, but he says roughly around $250.
So it's Forest and where?
Forbes and
Oh,
Central.
Forbes and Central, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's,
Pedestrian crosswalk.
we've spoken about getting signs that, light up and are solar this and solar that.
We were very hopeful, and I don't know where it ended, but we were hopeful that the college would fund that, the signage there that would turn on if someone hit the pedestrian crosswalk. The signs would start to illuminate temporarily to warn oncoming traffic that someone was actually utilizing the crosswalk. I don't know where that ended up with the college. I know they're aware of our desire.
That's where they are. That's
But-
where we are.
Yeah.
They're aware of
So we need to have
it.
more conversations with the president and whomever and say this could be a serious problem.
If you're asking my personal opinion, if they don't pay for it, I would recommend you pull out the crosswalk completely and eliminate it. You're creating a dangerous situation by having the crosswalk there. For centuries, people crossed that street when the opportunity presented itself to cross. As they meandered up and down the street, they waited for traffic and they crossed. And we didn't have any incidents. The erection of that crosswalk has created opportunities for accidents, and actually accidents have occurred. Both car pedestrian and car to car, when people have run into the back end of a car. I think that, if you're asking my opinion, I think it needs to be put in those terms to the college. That if they're gonna fund the lighting for it, I would recommend we leave it in place. If they're not, they need to know that we're probably in favor of pulling it out. It's creating a dangerous situation. Again, that's only my opinion.
That makes sense. What would be the procedures of pulling it out if we had to, just say,
By resolution, it went up by resolution,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, let me talk to them once more.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, anything else? Can I have an executive session, a motion for executive, please?
I move to go into executive session to discuss matters relating to the employment of a specific individual.
Trustee Barris,
Aye.
trustee Christina,
Yes.
trustee Linden, trustee Briggs,
Yes.
trustee Esek.
Yes.
Okay. I call this meeting to order. A regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia, duly called and held on the 24th day of September 2018 at 7:30 p.m. in the Trustees' Room, second floor, Village Hall, Fredonia, New York, and public notice of the time and place of this meeting has been given to the news media and conspicuously posted in one or more designated public locations in accordance with Section 104 of the Open Meetings Law.
Whereas members of this board present at this meeting have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees' regular meetings of June 25th, July 9th, July 23rd, special meeting of July 26th, special meeting of July 31st, regular meeting of August 13th, and special meeting of August 20th, regular meetings of August 27th, September 10th, 2018. Now therefore be it resolved, this board approves the minutes as entered into the official minutes, and be it further resolved that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
I second that.
Trustee Burns. Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Esek.
I have to vote no because I did not receive the minutes, official minutes from July 9th, 23rd, and the special meeting of 26th. I don't have those. I don't know why.
Okay. I don't know why. They all dispense the same.
Are they in here?
They're not in our packet tonight.
July 9th, right here.
Does everybody else got all the minutes?
July 23rd. July 26th.
Yep, I do.
Well,
I think they're all here.
I'll take a look again, but I pretty much, I checked, and I'll double check later on, but as of right now, I did not see them or have them, so just have to vote no.
Okay, motion passed, okay. Yes. Okay. All right, so for my report, I have some very good news. First of all, a few years ago, when the Carriage House closed its doors, we lost about 450 jobs. Although that was a grave loss, it was not the only one. Since then, there has been a dramatic reduction of local grapes intake of approximately 12,000 tons a year, which means that every year the grape supply exceeds what the local grape market can absorb. What we needed was some local processing facility that would help actually the grape growers processing to successfully market their product and sell their fruit. And this is exactly what happened. Eric Huddy and Rick Zoviak, and I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing his name right, are the founders of Agri-America, LLC, that had facilities in Silver Creek, New York. They bought the facility on Water Street, which was previously owned by Cliffstar Corporation, with the intention to revitalize the facility. This morning, we had a meeting at that facility. At that meeting was our DPW director, our chief operator for the wastewater treatment plant, the chief operator for the water plant, our attorney, and myself. There were people from the Agri-America LLC, and the discussion was about how we can, as the village, help this business grow. So we use our own grapes, we use the grapes of the surrounding area, and overall put the area once again into a leadership position for food manufacturing economy as it was before. It was a very good meeting. They started soft run the 3rd and the 4th of October, and they will go into full production on the 7th. They will use village water. The estimation is about 3 million gallons a month. They will use, of course, village sewer. And they will produce overall about 100 jobs. That's in the facility and in supporting jobs around the facility and around the area. So I'm very excited about that. They are doing an excellent job. And my understanding was that they have a sincere interest in growing the local agriculture. At the same time, everything that they do is going to help increase the sustainability of the overall farming community. So I want to welcome them to the area. I want to pledge my cooperation, and I believe I can speak for everyone in this board to say that every one of us is very excited to have them here and looking forward to many great years of development, economic development on their part. So that's one. And a second thing, and that's why Rebecca is here. Some time ago, about 2 years ago actually, we started talking with the city of Dunkirk and the University SUNY Fredonia about our common, what we have in common, how we can promote the whole area as a whole, the area as a whole. And we came up with something they called Central Connection. Central Connection starts from our Barkey Common and ends at the pier. What connects us is, of course, Central Avenue. Now, the city of Dunkirk was awarded last year not the downtown revitalization, but the smart growth, the smart growth grant. And part of that grant is going to go to Central Connection. And part of that going to Central Connection is going to help the Village of Fredonia actually put some striping on Central Avenue and some banners overall. Now, we had a very exciting meeting with the leadership of the city and the university. And I gave you, I believe, part of that, of what was given out. It's a very detailed map as to where the stripes are going to go, as to where the bike lanes are going to go. I didn't print all that. I have it here. It's a huge map. And I have it at your disposal, so if you want to take a look, you may. So I'm going to ask Rebecca to give us a little bit of, some information. And Rebecca Yanis is the head of the director of the economic development in the city of Dunkirk, correct? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor Landis. I'm here on behalf of Central Connections, our coalition, and the city of Dunkirk and SUNY Fredonia to kind of describe the next steps of actually implementing this project. It's been a long time in the making, and we're really excited to get this started. And what that includes is the city was awarded $2.5 million to do some major improvements to our pier and to the central connection between the village and the city. So what that includes is bike lanes along Central, basically from the pier to Barker Commons area, some wayfinding and signage, and some banners that unite the two areas. Part of our wayfinding and signage and the banner aspect, we went and hired a group called Block Club. They're a branding and marketing firm out of Buffalo, and they put together some really nice illustrations of what we would propose for banners, signage, items such as that. So I think everyone has in their packet the banners. Now, they picked a color palette, and again, this isn't set in stone yet, but I want to get everyone's input on that. The colors aren't set in stone. If you liked red instead of the green color, we're more than open to changing up the colors. Part of the banners are meant to kind of represent certain areas along the central connection. So Barker's Commons has the fountain, that's the icon for that section. The rest of the village of Fredonia along Central Avenue has the Opera House as that icon. In Dunkirk, we're just keeping our block club came up with a brand for Dunkirk, so we're just keeping a unified brand, but just changing up the names of the certain areas. So we have Dunkirk's Harbor, Dunkirk Business District, and then just the city of Dunkirk in sections along Central Avenue. And then SUNY Fredonia's, they are either going to be doing kind of just a university cap, possibly their icon. We're still working on that piece as well, but this is just kind of to represent what the banners would look like. Along Central, we have different areas that are located. Barker's Commons, there's 17 poles that we would propose doing every pole for the banners, from Temple Street to Collegiate Suites. There's roughly 26 poles there, but we would propose every other pole for that. From Carroll Avenue to the city line, there's roughly 14 poles, but again, we would propose every other. From Collegiate Suites to Carroll Avenue, where the college is located, we would propose 13. So in total, you have roughly, let's see, 40 banners throughout the village of Fredonia. And then within the city, it's every other as well. So just keeping that unified look along Central Avenue with the banners. In addition, we also have a wayfinding map that would be implemented with some different signage locations. And along the map, we kind of point out certain locations that people, tourists, local people might want to go to if you're not familiar with a certain area in the city or vice versa. It's nice to always have those certain maps, so we thought maybe we'd have a main point with the signage at the city, at the college, and at the village along Central Avenue that kind of point out the directions of these locations along the map. I also gave copies of everything to everyone there, and if you have any pieces that you want to add or pieces that don't make sense to remove, please let me know. I'll give you my business cards after, and all comments can be sent to me. Again, we kind of focus on Central Avenue. The idea is to get people moving from the city of Dunkirk to the village and vice versa along that central corridor. And then for the bike lanes, we had an engineering firm that did our plans for that. And currently, the city's working on our portion of doing some intersection improvements and paving of Central, but we're not going to do the bike lanes until spring, and we'd like to coordinate that along the city's side and the village's side, all the way down to Barker Commons. For the majority, our engineers took measurements of the street width all along Central Avenue, and the majority of that length, we can do bike lanes, so there'll be physical bike lanes along the lanes. But once we get down to the city's kind of business district and the villages, we do sharrows. So what sharrows are, share the lane icons.
Because
So that we don't take away parking and items like that. And the width of the lane is just a little smaller, so that's why we can't do physical lanes there. But again, I don't want to take up too much time, but any comments can be directed towards me, color-wise, color scheme, icons. Please let me know. We're trying to get this wrapped up in the next 3 weeks to kind of move forward with purchasing the banners and items. And then we would be implementing it in the spring. So that's kind of our timeline right now.
Thank you very much. And the main thing is that this is not set in stone, as you said,
Right.
And we're bringing it up to you today, so you can give us some input as to colors and design. And I mean, we talked about some of these restaurants and some of these businesses that can be not there next year or 2 years, or change names or getting bigger. So we're going to have some flexibility there. But this is, again, very exciting news. We go forward, and also we're going forward with our Barker Common. We had a meeting with the architectural firm last week, and that went pretty well. So, very exciting. Thank you very much, Rebecca. Thank you. All right, so that was my report. And trustees,
I have no report.
Nothing tonight.
Trustee Linda? Trustee Breeds?
Had a conversation with Colleen Yurko regarding our hanging baskets for next year. I think we had a
Okay.
discussion about that earlier. Colleen is more than happy to, I'm gonna coordinate this with Tony when we take the baskets down. She's more than happy to take our baskets up to the greenhouse as soon as we take them down and get them seeded and ready to
That'll
go
be
for the
great.
spring. And she'll hold them for us through the
Great.
winter and grow the
Great.
plants so they're fresh when they come out of the greenhouse onto the poles, so.
Yeah.
I'll coordinate
That'd
that
be
with Tony
great.
once they take them down, and we'll get them up to the Yurkos.
Very good. Thank you very much, Roger. Trustee Essek?
Yes, spoke before about, there's going to be a public engagement regarding the Barker Common Park project here this Saturday, September 29th, at the Farmers Market. The architectural firm JCB will have representatives there at a tent and a table to chat with the public and collect feedback about the space. So I encourage anybody, all residents who have any questions or concerns or input to please show up.
Or ideas?
Yep, or ideas. This is your money. I assume probably 9 to 1. There was no time on the email, so I'm
The
assuming.
time of the farmer's market is 9
Farmers
to 1.
market's 9 to 1, so it's got to be somewhere between 9 and to 1 on September 29th. Also, we had a workshop here last week. We discussed North County Water District. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, a lot of input that needs to be gotten. I'd like to take a walk around the village and neighborhoods and kind of get some input from our village residents of their thoughts on what they think about the water district, because we didn't make some serious decisions here, and I'd like to get their input. So if you see me walking around, that's what I'll be doing. It's not politicking. I just need to get some input from our residents. Also, I was asked to read a letter here. This is a letter from a department head that just retired or is planning to retire. He asked me to read the letter to the public here at the meeting.
I'm sorry, I need the department head to be here to read the letter. He signed it, I need him here to read the letter.
You need him to be here to read
Yes,
the letter? So are you
yes, because I
are you
read the letter, it's accusatory, and I want that department head to be here to read this letter, which is not, he's not a department head now. So I think giving somebody else the letter, which is so accusatory of a specific person, it's not the right thing to do. So I'm afraid this is not something we can allow.
So you're stifling me from reading the letter, is what you're saying?
It's not your letter, it's somebody else's letter, and this letter is, at the very least, accusatory. So if he's not here to give the reason behind these accusations, I'm not going to be able to answer, although I can, but I don't want to do it if he's not here to listen to me.
Well, I will be looking into, my rights to free speech here to speak, Mayor, so.
That's not your free speech, Mr. Essek.
Yes, it is. I was
That's
asked.
Perry Mitchell's free speech.
What would be the difference if a resident asked me to read a letter to the board?
That's not a
here?
resident.
There's no difference, so I will be looking into that.
What do you think, Dan?
Well, I think that it probably would be appropriate, just because of the context of the letter, and because, like the mayor said, certain accusations are made. Generally, personnel matters like that are not subject to public discussion. We usually handle something like that in executive session. This was more than just a letter of recommendation. And so I think it would be appropriate to either have the gentleman come or to discuss the matter in executive session. It doesn't need to be brought up at the open meeting.
This is his retirement letter. I didn't realize this was an executive session material.
Well, anytime I think when you're talking about personnel issues that where accusations are made, generally speaking, those are executive session materials.
Okay, well, I don't think so, and I will look this up. I will
Sure.
further look this up. I don't agree, and Perry, I regret not reading this. I don't believe this is not correct, and I will be looking into this further.
Anybody else wants to say anything? All right. We have the buildings inspector's report for the month of August 2018, according to which we have the fees collected are $9,810, 57 inspections, 33 renewals, and 5 stop orders. 34 permits generated $3,590 in revenue, and the estimated cost of work for the month was $346,541. Go to correspondence. Correspondence was received from Mary Jane Starks on behalf of the Festival's Fredonia Committee, requesting permission to use West Parker Common, including the gazebo, and to bug the parking meters around the perimeter of Barking Common for the Harvest Moon Cemetery Tour event on Friday and Saturday, October 19th and 20th, 2018, from 6 p.m. until midnight.
Be it resolved, the permission is hereby granted to the Festivals Fredonia Committee for the use of the West Barker Common, including the gazebo, for the Harvest Moon Cemetery event October 19th and 20th, 2018, from 6 p.m. until midnight, and be it further resolved that the Police Department bag parking meters around the perimeter of West Barker Common and across the Main Street side of the East Barker Common for pickup and unloading of passengers for the horse-drawn trolley cemetery tours, and be it further resolved that the Festivals Fredonia has permission to decorate the gazebo for the Halloween season by putting up lights and decorations from Saturday, October 13th through Saturday, November 3rd, 2018. This approval is also subject to receipt of a certificate of insurance in the amount of $1 million, naming the Village of Fredonia an additional insured, which the village has received.
I second that.
Trustee Burns. Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Correspondence was received from the Secretary of the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Department to transfer the name of Sue Nickerson from the active rolls to the honor rolls.
Be it resolved that Sue Nickerson is hereby transferred from the active rolls to the honor rolls of the J.S. Lambert Hook and Ladder Company, effective immediately.
I second the resolution. I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Correspondence was received from the Secretary of the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Department to add the name of Jonathan Tressler to the active rolls.
Be it resolved that Jonathan Tressler, West Main Street, Fredonia, is hereby added to the active rolls of the Fenner Hose Company, effective immediately.
I second that.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Correspondence was received from the Secretary of the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Department to add the name of Thomas Gustafson II to the active rolls.
Be resolved that Thomas Gustafson II of Sally Place, Fredonia, is hereby added to the active rolls of the J.S. Lambert Company, effective immediately.
I second the resolution. I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
We have the public portion. This portion of the meeting is for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to speak, once recognized, please stand, state your name and address. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes if speaking for themselves, or 5 if speaking on behalf of a group. I will ask the speakers to refrain from remarks that are in poor taste, slanderous, or not germane to any action taken or contemplated by the board. Anybody? Okay. Now, and so we're closing the public portion and going to resolutions.
Be it resolved that the notice of claim by Denise Shalkowski dated September 18th, 2018, and received by the village on September 19th, 2018, alleging an accident on August 25th, 2018, at the sidewalk in front of the premises located at Lambert Avenue and Day Street, has been referred to the village insurance agent, EMB Insurance Agency, and Selective Insurance, the village insurance carrier.
I second that.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Whereas the front steps of the Fredonia Village Hall are badly in need of reconstructive maintenance, and whereas A. Carapella Masonry has submitted a written proposal to perform said work for $19,950, is that right? Yeah. And whereas the village procurement policy states that public works projects with written quotes under $20,000 do not require public bidding, and whereas it is important to provide safe access to the main entrance of the village hall prior to the coming winter, now therefore be it resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to engage A. Carapella Masonry to perform reconstructive maintenance on the front steps of Village Hall per their proposal dated September 18th, 2018.
I second that.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
I'm just gonna look it over one time real quick. Yes.
Trustee Essek.
First of all, I have not seen their proposal, so I have no idea what their proposal is, so I need to vote no.
Okay.
And it's not that I don't think that our steps need to be fixed, they need to be fixed now, but I can't be voting on something that I have not seen their proposal.
All right, I'll give you the proposal. Jim.
Be resolved that a special meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia is hereby, Village of Fredonia be held on Monday, October 1st, 2018 at 6 p.m. to consider any business that may come before the board.
I second that.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Be it resolved that the purchase under New York State Contract Number 021815 for the purchase of one New Holland Boomer 55 tractor four-wheel drive cab with selected options from Larry Romance and Sons Incorporated, Sheridan, New York, per their quote dated September 18th, 2018, for the sum of $39,932.01, to be purchased out of the capital fund for use by the Department of Public Works is hereby approved.
I'll second that.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes, I know, I'm looking it over real quick.
Oh, okay.
I just wanna make sure I got everything covered. Tony, on this proposal, was the looks like the quick attach loader mount, was that scratched or added, or, I don't understand this.
It's in there.
It is in there, added in there? Okay. And we're all set, Jim, okay. I'll vote yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes. Be resolved that the Pump Doctor Incorporated, Hemlock Road, Eden, New York, is hereby retained to clean and repaint the two above-ground fuel storage tanks, fix the diked area around the tanks to verify the wall's integrity, and relabel the tanks with the appropriated information and safety requirements at the Fredonia Department of Public Works at a cost of $8,350 per their proposal dated August 23rd, 2018 is hereby approved.
I'll second the motion.
Trustee Bowers.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Be it resolved that Travis Daniel Hanson of Hartfield, DeWittville, New York, is hereby appointed to the position of part-time police officer effective September 25th, 2018, on an as-needed basis at the rate pay of $14 per hour with no other benefits, subject to civil service rules and regulations.
I second the resolution. I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Whereas amendments to the Village of Fredonia Code, Chapter 179, quotes, housing standards, end quotes, have been introduced. Now, therefore, be it resolved that said amendments be tabled for a public hearing at 7:30 PM on October the 8th, 2018.
I'll second that.
Trustee
I
Hall.
vote aye.
Excuse me, Mayor. The 8th is Columbus Day. I don't know if we're gonna have a meeting on that.
We don't have, there's not a village holiday.
Okay.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Last one, right?
I've got one more. Whereas the Village of Fredonia has immediate need for the service of a village clerk, now therefore be it resolved that Anne Marie Johnson is hereby appointed to the position of full-time village clerk. And be it further resolved that Anne Marie Johnson be compensated at the rate of $16 per hour with benefits effective October 9th, 2018.
I second the resolution. I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
I move to adjourn.
Anybody second?
I'll second that.
Trustee Vice.
I vote aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Thank you very much.